What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming to you with a look at the vintage collection. Lots of recent items here, as you can see in this thumbnail. I do have some TVC 1.0. Lots of good stuff that has been announced, obviously, and all those other big channels covered at length. But one thing I did want to do is maybe going forward, just see where we are with the Haslab backing. Right now we're at 8150. This is July 25th. I kind of record my videos ahead of time. That's why I'm not a breaking news channel. That's not what I do. But at least as of today, it did finally get back, so that's pretty cool. This is a pretty incredible Haslab project. I fully expect this thing to be backed with all the tiers, just with the amount of detail that Hasbro has put into the Ghost. It looks absolutely fantastic. Not something I'm going to buy, only because of space, but I'm really impressed with this offering in the Haslab. All of the mint on cards also look fantastic with that kind of Walmart Clone Wars animated Tartakovsky style card back art, and Eris Syndulla there looks great. I also love the Ezra Bridger with the kind of weird dog animal and the helmet there. I mean, that's just a great looking figure. I love the fact that they did alternate head sculpts for Kanan Jarrus to kind of account for the fact that he was blind towards the end of the show there. Just looks fantastic. I think my favorite is Zeb Aurelius. He just looks amazing inside the packaging there. I mean, that is just an incredible figure sculpt. Love the card art, everything about it. So obviously Sabine Wren is coming, but it would be cool if they did kind of an animated style version to kind of match the Rebels card art here, and I'm sure it will be. But wow, what an impressive Haslab. And for those of you who are backing it and getting it, while I'm a little bit jealous, this is just something that I could never fit in my collection room. But wow, what an awesome looking item. And right now we're at 8150, and I'll try to kind of do a quick update on that as we do my weekly vintage collection market updates. So let's start off with some TVC 1.0. We've got a foil clone trooper VC15 that looked to be in really clean, case fresh condition. And this is, I think, the second or third one that the seller has had. This one sold for $102.50. I've seen as high as $115 here recently, but that's a beautiful looking example of the Ultimate Galactic Hunt VC15. Speaking of foil, we got the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, the seller only included some photos inside the kind of star case there, so you don't really know exactly what you're getting, but it did look really clean. That one sold for 81 bucks. I think he probably could have gotten more money if he had taken some photos of this Obi-Wan outside of the star case there, but 81 bucks took that home. Assuming that's a near mint or near mint plus condition, I think that's a really great price. Next up, General Grievous. This is a punched example, the non-foil, and this was on the US card with the free Boba Fett mail away. That one sold for 100 bucks, which is another pretty good deal there. And you know, Grievous unpunched can set you back 175, maybe as high as $200. But for that punched example, I thought that was a pretty great price, 100 bucks plus $7.85 shipping. This price surprised me maybe on the upper end. This is VC20 Yoda, the non-Canadian. This is just the standard US release with the Revenge of the Sith card art. That one sold for 105 pounds, which is 134 US dollars. Here in the US, we're seeing that more like 80 bucks or so, 75, 80 bucks for a punched example of VC20. But at least over in the UK, that one did sell for 135. Next up was an unpunched Clone Trooper, 212th Battalion from Revenge of the Sith US card. This one sold in an auction for 83 bucks. I mean, admittedly, that Clone Trooper sculpt is a little bit out of date there, but great card art there, and it's an unpunched example. Hard to pass that one up, but 83 bucks took that home. Pretty good deal there. Han Solo in the Yavin Ceremony. This one surprised me at the upper end. This one sold for $99 plus $10 shipping. That's probably the highest I've seen for that one in a while. And obviously a pretty outdated figure sculpt there. It looks like Indiana Jones circa 2023 with that face sculpt. Really old looking, but great card art on that one. Unpunched US card and VC42. Again, that one sold for $110. That's pretty high there. But an interesting one that did not sell is the TVC 1.0 version of Cathaba with the Darth Maul offer. This one was listed for a starting bid price of 50 bucks and it did not sell. I mean, just last year, this was going for, what, 150 bucks or more for a nice, clean, unpunched example. But given the re-release, this thing has just nosedived in value. And this one did not sell and was reissued, or excuse me, relisted by the eBay seller. And $50 is a starting bid. and no takers so far the first go around, and now it's been relisted for the same price. But just crazy how much these TVC 1.0 will drop after the reissue happens. Next up, Namanor. This is one we haven't talked about. Really ugly figure, but a great, it's a great card art. I just don't know anything about him. I don't remember him from any of the books. He must have been from the Expanded Universe books covering what's the word? Yuzan Vog or something. I'm totally mangling that, but that alien race that was in some of the Expanded Universe novels. I never read them. I've never gotten around to reading those, but this is a nice, clean, unpunched example. That one did sell in the UK for 80 pounds, which is 102 US dollars. Here in the US, I'm seeing $65 to $75 for Namanor on an unpunched card. This one obviously is the European release with the multi-language warning sticker on the back. Next up, another Princess Leia in her slave outfit data point. This one was listed for $250. This is the retail release with the prototype Boba Fett armor punched example. That one, again, $250. The best offer accepted on that one was $212. Next up, we've got Grand Moff Tarkin. This one sold for $86. 86 bucks. That's the lowest I've seen in a while for this one. And the card looked pretty good. I mean, I didn't see much that was wrong with it. Maybe a little of a weird seal there in the lower right-hand corner. It looks like maybe some of the heat seal was missed there or something. But overall, the rest of the card looked pretty clean. And I'm surprised it sold that low. I mean, I've seen as high as $125, $150 recently. It got up to like 200 bucks at one point, but has really come back down in price. 86 bucks plus $16 shipping. Now, admittedly, this one was in Hong Kong, so that probably held the price down a little bit because you don't really know what you're getting if you're buying from Hong Kong. But anyway, that one did sell for 86 bucks. I think that that's probably a little bit of a shipping risk there that people just weren't willing to take. So that's probably why it did. I didn't see that it sold in Hong Kong. So next up, I got a couple of different data points for Star Killer on the TVC 1.0 card. This one was an unpunched US card and very, very clean looking condition. That one sold for $105.50, and that seems to be the going rate right now, about 100 bucks. This one was the deal though. This one was signed by Sam Witwer, and this was the actor that portrayed Star Killer in the Force Unleashed video games. Not only his likeness, but also his voice. And there it is, his signature right there. I've got one of these signed at the top of the card on the punch on mine. But this one was signed at the bottom by the Darth Maul offer sticker. And that was a great price, 128 bucks plus $10.65 shipping on 15 bids. That one closed on July 23rd. So that's a pretty good price for another signed TVC. And speaking of signed, here was another one signed by Emily Swallow, who obviously plays the Armorer in the Mandalorian series. This is the way, with a really great signature on there. This is a great example, and that one sold for 130 bucks as well. Pretty good deal on that. To me, that one's already been kind of authenticated by JSA as well. So that's a really great price for an already authenticated example of the Armorer signed by Emily Swallow. So awesome deal, 130 bucks plus $8 shipping. Next up is Shea Vizsla, unpunched US card with the Darth Maul offer. That one sold in an auction for $77, 77 bucks. I mean, I remember an AFA 9.0 graded example that sold for like $400 last year prior to the re-release coming out. But it's unbelievable how much these TVC 1.0 drop, but that is the lowest I've seen for a nice clean example of Shea Vizsla with the character debut sticker. $77 plus $8.15 shipping. Wow, that is a steal. Next up is Ahsoka, another one that's really dropped. This one sold for $202.50. I saw an AFA 85 graded unpunched example US cards sell on Facebook for $350-ish. So that's another one that's really dropped like a rock. But that one looked to be really clean overall. Here it is outside of the star case, unpunched US card for $202.50. Unbelievable. I never thought we'd see those prices again, but $202.50 took that one home. Next up, I've got some SDCC exclusives. The first one being from 2018. This is the Dr. Aphra 3-pack. This one has definitely creeped up in price a little bit. I remember when I was telling people, buy this while it's cheap, and it was like 45 to 60 bucks or so, and it's been slowly but steadily increasing in price. This one sold for $100 free shipping. Still relatively cheap if you ask me for a great 3-pack. Foil packaging and unpunched. That's a pretty good deal. This also was available in European packaging with multi-language packaging. So you can get either or both if you are a completionist. But $100 on that one now seems to be the going rate. And then here is the Chrysantan. It was crazy after SDCC. This dropped and people could pick it up at the show. They started being re-released on eBay, and they started at like $70. It would sell immediately. Then $75, then $80, then $90, and now they're selling for $95 free shipping. So it's pretty crazy how quickly those accelerated in price. But there is the Chrysantan in the SDCC exclusive box. $95 is kind of the new going rate. This one also sold for $95. This seller had 2 of those available. Both of those sold pretty much immediately. So that's what the kind of going rate is on eBay for these SDCC exclusives. Right out of the gate, they've really jumped in price. Next up is Boba Fett's Throne Room. This pre-order, this seller had 3 available. One of them did sell at $350. The suggested retail price was $230 if memory serves. So that's another one that's really jumped up in price. Obviously, the Bib Fortuna inside the mint on card packaging is the big selling point on this one. It's a great figure sculpt. I love it. But anyway, $350 is the latest data point I've got for you on some of these recent releases that are coming out. Next up, I've got the Phase 2 Clone Trooper multi-pack, and these are going right now for about $80. This seller had 4 available. 2 of them have sold at $80 with $8 shipping, and he still got 2 available. So if you're looking for those multi-packs, about, let's call it $88 is the going rate right now for the Phase 2 Clone Trooper 4-pack. And then finally, I also had this multi-pack. This is the Modal Nodes multi-pack. I showed my wife my Modal Node, and she was less than impressed with it. But I bet she would be impressed with this set. This Modal Node set is very nice. I love the packaging on that one. And these are going for $88 on eBay right now. Free shipping seems to be the going rate. I've seen as low as about $75, but it seems like most of the data points, at least recently, are about $88 free shipping on eBay. So anyway, I hope you found this information helpful. Lots of different recent announcements from the vintage collection. I'm sure you guys have followed all of the details over at the big channels, but I at least wanted to provide you guys with some recent data points on eBay for sold listings. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.